Good afternoon to all and welcome to Computer Security Day Talks. Good afternoon to all and welcome to Computer Security Day Talks. Today's event is the culmination of SET's IEEE Life members, IEEE Computer Society Madras section, Computer Society of India and BSCI. Today we have gathered here to delve into the depth of the following topics. First, rethinking cybersecurity, evolving threat vectors. Second, how AI is reshaping the cybersecurity landscape. And third, securing connected world of IoT/IoE awareness for citizens. I would request Dr. N. Subramanian, Executive Director, SET, to proceed with welcoming address. Over to you, sir.
Good evening to all of you who have joined here in person and for many who have joined online as well. It's an interesting day when we see the environment outside as well. At Chennai we are located with the weather in a changing condition, and we see the changing cyber security scenario in this era with connected devices, AI, and things like that. This is my opportunity from on behalf of SETS to, as well as to all, along with SETS, we have joined hands with IEEE Life Member Affinity Group, IEEE Computer Society, Computer Society of India, and DSA, Data Security Council of India, joining hands to bring this program. Wholeheartedly welcome all the members who have joined. Sincerely thank our Honorable Professor Janakiraman, who has been guiding us in our initiatives in SETS and in the recent meetings as well. The Apex Committee has been guiding SETS on its future trajectory and the activities. Welcome you, sir, for this key event on the eve of Computer Security Day. Your talk would be really enlightening, I'm sure, all the audience, and the title aptly chosen on the evolving threat vectors is important to understand the evolving context and get prepared for the newer threats and devising mechanisms to protect ourselves. Welcome you warmly, sir, for this event. I take this opportunity to warmly welcome our Professor Sam Murugesan, Sydney. Thank you. And wonderful topic, sir, and we welcome you warmly for this event. On when AI is kind of taking shape, getting used and being applied across various sectors, not only sectors of societal importance but also of critical infrastructures, we see a huge element of work to be done from the security side to see how AI and cybersecurity can coexist and adding value to both ways, AI for cybersecurity and cybersecurity for AI. Welcome you for this talk and thank you for joining us today for this event on the Computer Security Day. It is important that when we realize this journey with more devices, today the scenario everywhere is getting advancement done through augmenting capabilities what humans have, right? So when you take our own personal devices, you have devices getting attached to ourselves. When you go to the infrastructure, when you go to even the roadside or road transportation, when you get into the car, when you see the devices that are there within the automobile, and then when you look at health institutions and the kind of devices that are getting used, we see a huge surge in the proliferation of devices. And it is very pertinent and that our former Executive Director, Dr. Sharat Chandra Babu, presently advisor to DSCI, to touch upon and give details about going about this connected world of what we call IoT and IoE, Internet of Everything, from the citizen perspective. We welcome you, sir, for this talk, and thank you for sparing your time on this key day of Computer Security Day. And we would have loved to also hear Ms. Tirupati, but I think probably for some other reason he could not make it. But I think we have before us interesting three talks by three eminent personalities. Welcome all the speakers and the participants who have joined offline as well as online. And let's make this a very memorable day, because this day, you have to understand, way back in '88 has been initiated for largely computer security, but today we see everything there is a computing device. So in this context, it is important for us to recognize that and reflect upon the societal impact and try to see how we devise novel and innovative solutions. And SEPS is one such organization under the ambit of Principal Scientific Advisor. We are taking up steps towards gearing up to meet the demands of the digital India, as well as the transforming scenario of computing and enabling a safe and secure environment to all the citizens. So in this context, we are well placed to collaboratively join with all academic as well as industry participants and take this further. I welcome you all for this wonderful event, and I'm sure that this would be a very interesting day for us to assimilate and reflect upon the talks after the sharing by the experts. Welcome you all. Thank you.
Now, now I would like to invite Shri H.R. Mohan sir, Chair Event and IMF Past Chair, IEEE Madras, Editor, IEEE R10, Newsletter, former AVP, The Hindu. I would request sir to give us brief introduction about this program.
Good evening to one and all. At the outset, let me also join Dr. Subramaniam, the ED of SEX, in formally welcoming all the participants who have joined both in physical as well as in online mode for this Computer Security Day event. Last year, when we had organized this event, it was just a one talk evening for just for 1 hour. But this year we wanted to make it a little more elaborate. So the idea was mooted during October, when we had the cyber security observation day. Dr. NS was really agreeing to that idea, and then we thought we'll make it a little more elaborate and trying to sort of address various aspects of the computer security. As Dr. NS was mentioning, the '88 was the starting of this computer security day at Cornell University, and subsequently Carnegie Mellon, they started the task force for identifying the security-related issues. Then the rest is like history. But today, the computing device is beyond computers. So literally everyone is carrying a computing device. I'm talking about the smartphones and things like that. And also we have been subjected to various gadgets and then sensors and actuators, which are having impact in our day-to-day life, including the transport systems, where autonomous cars and things like that. So almost every we are being exposed to computing related and data related activities in various forms. And as you all know, that data is the asset for anything, and then people are always, they are trying to sort of access the thing and then for the benefit and things like that. So the computer security becomes almost paramount important in the current context. And it's not only that we professionals should be enlightened on this computer security, but the youngsters, basically, they are the people who have been using the computing devices much more than elders like us. So we must reach more and more people, and being the digital literacy becoming one of the major aspects in the country like India, where we are digitizing a lot of operation, awareness is must. And then, this is the one of the main objectives in trying to sort of reach more people. These programs are being organized, and obviously, so we wanted to have good speakers. And first thing, it came to my mind was Professor Janikiran, and then, he is heading an institute where the financial security is of the country is itself is being monitored and things like that. And he was immediately, he immediately accepted. And another person, Professor San Murugesan, with whom, we have been working for almost, I think about 25 years. And he is one of the doyens in the field of security, and then, artificial intelligence, and many of the great computing and things like that. And he is sort of more contemporary in terms of trying to assimilate information in various sectors. And he is rightly selected the topic AI and sort of security and things. In fact, you must have read yesterday, authentic has been selected as the word of the year by Merriam-Webster Dictionary. So basically, it means that, the information has to be authentic. So emphasis is there more on security related things. And the third aspect is that IoT is becoming order of the day, and all lot of cyber physical systems and devices, and including our transport and autonomous systems are all IoT based systems, and they require close monitoring. And then we have none other than Dr. Sarath, who was the former ED and currently the advisor of Data Security Council. He is going to address on these security related issues and IoT devices and things like that. So, as a whole, I am sure that these three talks, what we are planned today, of course, the fourth one due to some unforeseen reasons, that have to be cancelled. But these three talks will definitely will engage all of us, and then, we'll be able to go with a lot of inputs and related to security, and we'll be able to support ourselves from attacks and various things. With this brief note, I would like to I'd like to request Dr. Janikiran after the formal introduction. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our today's first guest is Professor D. Janakiram, Director, Institute for Development and Research in Banking Technology. Professor Janakiram brings with him immense experience in various fields of direct relevance to banking and financial technology, and took over as a director of Institute for Development and Research in Banking Technology on January 24, 2021. Prior to joining IDRBT, he was a senior professor at the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, IIT Madras. Professor Janaki Ram was awarded the Boys Trust Fellowship in 1997, the IBM Faculty Award in 2007, Yahoo Faculty Grant in 2009, and JC Bose Innovation Test of Time Award for the year 2022. Today, Sir will be delivering idea on rethinking cybersecurity, evolving threat vectors. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Yeah, okay. I just want to share the screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, visible, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Very good afternoon to all the participants. It gives me great pleasure to be part of this Computer Security Day being organized by SETS. I've been part of the SETS Apex committee, and recently we met in Delhi in the PSA's office where the ED, Dr. Subramaniam, has presented what is happening, and previously Dr. Sarath also was part of the executive team. He was also the ED of SETS. I'm very happy to see the work that SETS is doing, and especially happy to be part of this program being organized by SETS and other organizations. And it's indeed pleasure to be part of this program. Uh, my friend actually Mohan requested, and as usual, Mohan was able to bring all the other organizations together as part of this event. And I'm very happy that he is doing real good service to the community. And I'm aware, and we worked together quite extensively. What I'm going to do in today's talk is basically there's a need to actually rethink cybersecurity. Often what we do is we take the past experience and try to project it into the future. A lot of times, what we have been doing earlier, there's a tendency to see that how we can extend the same thing in the past. But what I would like to actually do in my talk is basically we need to completely rethink cybersecurity, which means that we actually have to look at the current situation and should come with what is the best strategy for cybersecurity. Uh, I think from that perspective, I want people to rethink cybersecurity given now what is happening. The key thing that is happening is what I put in the bracket there. The ever-changing cyber threat vectors. These threat vectors are evolving and continuously changing. This is like when we work with the bank CISOs. We see that one of the key problems they face is they're always worried about the technology, new technology coming in, and with this new technology um, comes the new threat vectors. So they're always concerned when they get the new technology. Their main worry is this also bringing in the new cybersecurity threats into their systems. From that perspective, I think it's always a changing goalpost, and then you need to understand what is happening with these threat vectors. Um, and often, actually, more important is when we introduce these new technologies, um, there are suddenly some class of citizens, suddenly the elderly people, and then the not so tech savvy people who are also exposed to these technologies, and they become very vulnerable. So one needs to understand the societal impact of these technologies and how we are going to protect. From these perspectives, my talk is going to be more on the lines of completely rethinking the cybersecurity from a different perspective. And then I have two major aspects, and I will try to bring those two aspects in this talk right now. The four important technologies that I see are very important in the current space. Of course, I could have actually left some things out, but then I focused on these four technologies. The first one is the generative AI. The second one is the cloud and edge technologies. The third one is the blockchain technologies, and the fourth one is quantum computing. Quantum computing is obviously a long-term perspective one needs to take, whereas all the other three are actually there right now, and then they are bringing with them their own threat vectors into the technology space. Quantum is a different aspect altogether, but I will try to touch upon quantum also to see what kind of issues that we should be looking at. Suddenly, the post-quantum cryptography thing that SETS is also working on. Um, First, if you want to look at the generative AI, I think the most important worry that surfaced is these deep fakes. Um, the interesting thing with AI is, in fact, this is one of the courses I offered as part of IIT Madras system. I said
sir.
cloud and then machine learning in the. There's coming back. Yeah, okay. So cloud and AI, cloud and machine learning are very important components. Machine learning didn't change much, but then with the cloud, our ability to actually train large data sets improved tremendously. That's where basically this technology assumed a major dimension when cloud and big data processing came together. With this, our ability to actually train models has tremendously increased. And we are able to now, for example, if I need to create my own deep fake, which I experimented, I can do this in 10, 15 minutes. Given this level of sophistication that has come in, we are all worried about how the AI will play out in terms of the threat vectors. The government is already worried about deep fakes. I was telling them some time back, but now I think the kind of people that are getting affected with these deep fakes are quite significant. The recent one in the financial sector is where Elon Musk actually had a deep fake. Somebody created a deep fake of Elon Musk having a conversation with a BBC host on actually
Madam, or disconnect data, madam.
Request everyone to wait for some time as sir is facing some technical issue in his end.
hello.
Yes, sir.
I got dropped. Where did I get dropped? Any idea where it is? Hello?
Sir, to the same slide, sir.
In the same slide? Okay. Can I just continue
Yes.
from here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, so this is one of the most important threat vectors that has emerged with generative AI. With all its uses, we need to worry about this threat vector that is coming in from generative AI. Similarly, with blockchain technologies, suddenly these are redefining, several things, including the, if you look at the financial space, the central bank digital currencies, which is now, the most important thing that is happening in the financial space, But then with blockchain technologies comes different kinds of attacks. For example, there are block withholding attacks, 51% attack, attacks on side chains, attacks on smart contracts. No, I don't want to go deep into each of these attacks, but then one needs to worry about what new kind of problems that these technologies are bringing in. Just to highlight the kind of attacks that are happening here. Um, on one of the side chains on Ethereum, somebody actually tried acquiring a controlling stake by getting a loan, enough loan from a bank to actually acquire a stake on the side chain, and transferred all the money to himself, and then paid that loan. So very smart attack on the side chains of Ethereum. So they are actually no very sophisticated attacks people are launching on these systems. So one needs to understand now along with this technology, not just the power of these technologies and the this thing that they are bringing in, but the kind of other attacks that will be coming in when we are using these technologies. That's a very important thing that we should be understanding with this evolving space of the technologies. The last one, no, I would like to also touch upon is this cloud and the edge computing. A lot of times we have these co-location attacks, data stealing attacks, and also misconfiguration issues when you actually use this cloud and edge computing technologies. But again, the power of these technologies should not be overstated. They're suddenly very, very powerful, and you need to use them because there's no other way. But at the same time, you should be worried about the kind of attacks that can happen on these systems. In fact, to just highlight this fact, I was just looking at a simple modern car. What kind of a security risk the car has. In fact, a modern car, I was reading that it's almost having about 10,000 plus, small computing systems that are actually put into the car. Now the kind of threats that come on these modern cars is really amazing. In fact, I was seeing a video. In fact, this was
Sir?
from the LinkedIn.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, your slide is not visible, sir.
Slide is not visible.
It is visible, but it is not in the
presentation mode.
Full view, sir.
Okay, just give me a minute. I'll try to actually put it in the. Is that fine now?
Yes, sir.
Right? Yeah.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Okay, yeah. So this actually shows the kind of attacks that can happen on a modern car. For example, the vehicle-to-vehicle communication. If it is actually hacked, then you're going to get into all kinds of problems. And then, in fact, this is on a LinkedIn post where they're showing that how in few seconds the car key can be hacked, and then one can actually steal the car, very, very easily. So the surface, if you basically look at the attack surface, the attack surface is ever increasing. Now, since it is ever increasing, what are the kind of strategies that we should be using for cyber defense? I'm not now no longer calling cyber security. I'm calling this is as an approach to cyber defense. Now, one of the key things that you should do in cyber defense kind of a model, of course, cyber security is required, and then with these evolving technologies, you should continuously work on improving, the threat attack vectors, and then see how you're going to defend yourself. That should continue. But in terms of looking at the cyber defense part, you need to actually look at it in a completely different model. First thing you should look at it is, why is cyber defense important component? Cyber defense is a different kind of a mindset. What you should look at it is, why is the cyber hackers in the first place are becoming profitable? The simple reason it becomes a profitable exercise is because the same copy is running on millions of devices, and if they are able to actually hack into one copy, all the millions of devices which are running the same software become vulnerable. This is the key problem in terms of software, the way it is designed and the way it runs on millions of devices. For you to be able to protect your critical systems, the only way you can do this is you need to customize your software, what is running on your machine, which should be different from all other machines. For example, the critical things in terms of the keys that are used on your machine are customized for your device, then obviously you will get a better protection, and the hacker will not be able to get into your system because the copy running on your system is different from the copy running on all other devices. So this is one of the key things that one should do as far as cyber defense is concerned. Identify critical parts in software stacks and provide protection hooks. This is very, very important. I'm going to show you, a couple of these approaches, which are interesting approaches, and then also see if I can just give you a small demo on some of these. First thing is the OS kernel protection. Kernel becomes an all-pervasive thing. For example, if you take Linux kernel, it's an all-pervasive software that is running on millions of devices. So is there a way actually we can customize this kernel so that the kernel that is running on your system is different from the rest of the devices on which the kernel is running. One of the things at IIT Madras we have done is since 2004, it's almost a 15 years of work on actually trying to do what is called the minimalistic object-oriented kernel. This is also called the Mool kernel. What this Mool kernel provides you is a simple C++ message filters for the Linux kernel, through which you can do an easy customization of the kernel, which means that it is possible for you to actually do your kernel that is running on your machine, completely customize it to your own needs. For example, key data stores such as MySQL can be completely protected using your own keys. Why is this very important? This is important because if you look at the Ukrainian war, Russia and Ukrainian war, the first thing people did is the NPM maintainer, the software maintainer of NPM, actually introduced because he didn't like Russia, he introduced into the NPM software a way to detect if the IP belongs to the Russian thing, and then started deleting all the files on those machines, which means it is a country level attack that he was able to launch because this NPM is used in lots of other softwares. Now, this is the different level of attack surface that comes in. Now look at something like this Mool kernel. Now you can take your kernel, you can protect it in your own way by using your own keys for encryption, decryption, or whatever customization you are able to do to your kernel. Then your vulnerability for the rest of the other things is reduced to a very, very large extent. This is one of the interesting things we did, and then this is available for use. Actually, it has been licensed to the Indian defense systems and also various other peoples. I will just show you how easy it is to customize the kernel. Normally, people don't touch the kernel, because it's difficult to actually, once you touch the kernel, testing, doing lots of things will become extremely difficult with the kernel. So what people do is they just use the same kernel. Now, if you're able to actually easily customize the kernel, using this C++ message filters, then you can easily do what you want to do on your kernel. This is the key thing that comes in. The same copy doesn't run on all the millions of systems. Just for you to show this, I will actually show you how easy it is to customize the kernel. Are you able to see my screen? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll try to slightly extend it. Yeah. Yeah. So now you can see this is a kernel that is running. This was developed as a BOSS was the CDAC version, which again we were working with CDAC Chennai Center in actually giving this version of the Linux kernel, but then that's a distribution. The Mool is actually the kernel changes. This minimalistic object-oriented Linux is the kernel level changes that have been introduced. Now you can see that again sorry for the small font that possibly may be difficult to enlarge the font, but if you're able to see it, what you have here is basically a Mool kernel, and then it's very easy to customize this kernel. I'll just show you how easy it is to actually do the customization of the kernel, Linux kernel. if you go into the kernel, there are lots of files, right? It's a .c files, almost a few million lines of code is what you see here, Now, if you go into the kernel and then try to actually customize the filters, for example, in this case, the syscall wrappers, which are part of this, C++ filters. If you go here and then say that, for example, all write calls to the, to the kernel, you want to intercept and make a change to these write calls, open call, write call, any of these calls can be modified, Now you can see here is a case where I will actually try to modify the, write call and then show you how easy it is customization. You can see here there is a print call that I've introduced. I'm here kind of a thing. You can change the password file location, do lots of things here in terms of what you want to do the customization so that the hacker won't know what's happening in your kernel, Now I put this, and if you basically look at this kernel, when you reboot this particular kernel, you can see I'm here comes in because all the system calls are now intercepted. The right system calls are intercepted in this particular case. I can go back and then change this very easily, and then as you can see, I will just modify my kernel now so that this doesn't come in. So all that I need to do is basically I need to go into this kernel, modify it. Right, so I just will go into the kernel. So now you can see normally people don't touch the kernel. They're worried about touching the kernel and doing anything with the kernel because it's a very once you modify the kernel, just rebuilding the kernel, testing it is a real problem. But in this particular case, I know where to modify it. The C++ wrappers give me a very easy way of actually doing this. So here I can just say that now I will actually comment this whatever I put here, and then now change my kernel. Now I'll say that now I will try to rebuild my kernel, and then and then reboot the changed kernel. Right now you can see that I'm just rebuilding my kernel. Once I rebuild the kernel, I can just reboot it, and then you can see that will go off. That I'm here kind of a message will go off. So basically, what this is extremely powerful mechanism in terms of how what you can do at the kernel level. So this is a completely new approach on how exactly you can actually change the or rethink on the this is one last time I will reboot, and then that's it. So now I've actually modified the kernel, and then the kernel should just boot normally. You can see that the kernel has just booted normally. This is extremely powerful even in embedded Linux. So this gives you the power to actually change the kernel on the fly, and then customize the kernel the way you want to actually do that. Right. So this is one important way of rethinking. In fact, even on the mobile phone, this changed Linux kernel can be used for doing lots of things. In fact, we have actually customized that for a lot of things, and then they changed. Android was actually given. Just to actually give you a flavor of this thinking. Looking at the new way of how computer security can be improved. This is another work that we have been doing at IDRBT, on how actually to provide the last mile connectivity. Last mile connectivity has always been a big problem for the financial transactions. How do you actually go to the village level and provide connectivity to the villages at a very low cost. This is where basically after I came here as director from IIT Madras, we started this initiative on actually how do we develop a low-cost private financial networks using the LoRa. Here we had actually done very interesting proof of concept work with Tata Telecommunications. What we did is we took a micro ATM, and then the micro ATM, Evolute micro ATM was connected using the LoRa. LoRa is a long range, chip spectrum. Only small messages can be transmitted using the LoRa. Now, in this particular case, the micro ATM is transmitting all the packets. The LoRa can connect up to 15 miles, which means that two LoRa devices which are separated by about 15 miles can communicate with each other. So at a district level, almost 4 or 5 devices can actually connect the entire district. So the idea was to actually set up a private financial network which will transmit these LoRa packets, which are the financial packets, to the backhaul financial servers. And then this is experimented with Tata Telecommunication in a very remote place in Tamil Nadu, Gummaluru, where VSATs, now no other connectivity is actually working. And we actually set up this LoRa network, and then the end-to-end communication was 16 seconds. We were able to set up this whole LoRa network, and then the end-to-end communication was 16 seconds. In fact, RBI is planning to extend, along with the government, to the entire, this thing, this low-cost financial network using LoRa. Why is this important? This is important for two reasons. First thing is a private network. So all attack vectors that come from the internet are all eliminated here. If somebody wants to hack this system, he has to go to the Gummaluru and then capture those packets, and then the hacker will not have that kind of intent, right? So it basically makes it more difficult for anyone to actually think of hacking into a private financial network. Not only that, the people who are actually financially very illiterate, we can design small machines with which they can be included into the financial inclusion, and they don't need to worry about all the cyber attacks that happen in the in the actual internet space, because it's a private financial network, low cost private financial network that can be set up for financial inclusion. And this again complete rethink from what we do in a traditional way. In fact, I hope that this will solve the most important problem as we go into the digital India at a very fast pace. We won't leave the marginalized sections of the society from the financial inclusion. This experiment is an advanced stage. In fact, we are extending it to more villages now to see how the whole network can be set up. And this is one of the interesting things I again want to bring to your notice. The other thing again, in terms of re-looking at the cyber security, we again designed a private 5G edge cloud. This is part of the IDRBT's private 5G edge cloud for financial transactions. What was done here is the entire 5G code, as you can see here, has been virtualized. Right now, the entire virtualized core. In fact, within a couple of hours, we can set up any private 5G edge cloud with the kind of setup that we have, including the edge cloud that has been designed and then set up with IIT Madras work. This is a cloud mole. Now, what you have is in a van, for example, you can this is the van that you can see. For example, in the van, what was put now is this three servers on which basically the virtualized 5G core runs, the G-Node B runs, and it can provide the 5G support to the entire village. And in fact, the private cloud, if you are able to actually install some of the financial systems, core systems, they will be able to handle most of the transactions locally within that space, and they can sync with the backend using the slice, network slice later, when they come in contact with the banking, network. So this again actually is a very interesting one. In fact, offline transactions is a major issue as far as the current financial systems are concerned. And one of the key problems is, if you actually create a central bank digital currency, how are we going to the offline, payments? Now, this kind of a setup, for example, the private 5G cloud can be one solution, the way we can solve this problem without really exposing the devices to a large threat vectors that could be there. This is something that we have been able to pursue as a new thinking, and suddenly I feel that cyber defense strategies are more important at this point of time as we do the Digital India program at a large scale, because we need to understand there are different sections of the society, marginalized sections of the society, which carefully have to be brought onto the Digital India space. From that perspective, some of this work that we've been able to do can address those, and I thought I'll share these ideas on how we can relook at the cyber defense in a completely different approach. Yeah, with that, thank you very much for the opportunity given to me for sharing my ideas. Thank you.
And today's next guest is Professor Sam Murugesan, Editor-in-Chief, IEEE Intelligence System and Director, BRIT Professional Services, Sydney. Professor Sam Murugesan is the Editor-in-Chief of IEEE Intelligence Systems magazine. His outstanding achievements have earned him the status of a Fellow of the Australian Computer Society, IEEE and IICA. Additionally, he is recognized as a Golden Core member and Life Senior member of the IEEE Computer Society. We request Sir to share his valuable insight on how AI is reshaping the cybersecurity landscape. Over to you, sir.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. It is indeed my pleasure to join you this afternoon with you, discussing about computer security on the Computer Security Awareness Day. And computer security is becoming much more important than ever, as Professor Janagiraman pointed out. So it is appropriate that we have a series of talk, and I am pleased to be invited to give a talk in this one. First, I would like to welcome and thank all the participants and also the organizers, Dr. Subramaniam and HR Mohan, Mr. Nageswar Rao, Dr. Rashmi, and other speakers, and also the participants as well. Today, Professor Janagiraman has rightly brought out the need to rethink about cybersecurity. He very well framed the scenario for today's talk. He emphasized what is changing and why we need to rethink, and then he gave some few examples of the work he has been involved with. So I will continue on that and then bring in the new technology that he introduced. Also, some of the new technologies he said is creating problem. So one of those technologies which is widely used now is AI, artificial intelligence. So let us look at that. AI has transformed almost every application we can think of in every sector. So what is the potential of AI in cybersecurity? How it will impact and what we can do about it? And that's what we will discuss now in the next 30-40 minutes. So with that brief intro, let me take you to my slides. Hope I am able to share my slides. Let me see. Are you able to see my slide?
Yes, sir. But it is not in full view, sir.
Okay, I'll change it to full view. Just let me know that whether it is in full view now. Is it in full view? I moved the full view mode.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I will continue in this mode. And how is the audio? Audio is good?
Yes, sir. It is good, sir.
Okay. So I'll talk about how AI is reshaping cybersecurity landscape. I specifically choose the landscape, meaning that it is not just impacting one aspect, it is impacting on many aspects. It is many ways reshaping as well as the earlier speaker, Professor Janagiram, pointed out. So as Professor Janagiram pointed out, the cybersecurity threats are increasing from various angles. And not only the increasing, but they are also becoming harsher and also becoming harder to detect. That is another problem. The threats are increasing, it is becoming harder to detect, and also the impact is harsher, and the impact is severe, and in some cases it could be devastating as well. And the earlier, the cyber threats were primarily limited to businesses and to some extent to government as well, but now they stretch across all sectors. No sector is, that no sector is immune. So for health, manufacturing, logistics, utilities, financial services, including education, is being affected by cyber threats. So that means that it is becoming a major problem for everyone and for everything we deal with in the digital world. And as the security threats grow in number, and also it becomes more severe and also become more sophisticated, meaning that they are harder to detect, and protecting the data, computer systems, and also the critical infrastructure, because many of our critical infrastructure, national and international cricket infrastructure, is run on interconnected manner with digital control. And in some cases, they are operated autonomously. So protecting the infrastructure also becomes more important as well as more demanding as well. So as Professor Janagaraman pointed out, it calls for continuously renewed strategies and new approaches. The old approach, what we did in the past, it worked well. That kind of a strategy or approach is no good. So we need to keep continuously renewing our cyber defense strategies and also the approaches. But despite the many of the hacks, say data breaches and denial of service attacks, and sometimes even the critical infrastructure has brought to halt, security is often overlooked by many industries and by many people, including the professionals, or they are not addressed satisfactorily. There is need to address them because of the various reasons. And this one was covered earlier just for the same point of continuity, data breaches, ransomware, denial of service attacks, phishing attacks. The other thing is that malicious insider activity and cloud infrastructure, IoT security. As mentioned earlier, the attack surface is increasing and the type of attacks also is increasing. And if you look at I thought that it is worth bringing out to this audience, what is the impact it can create or what is the impact it has created so that we get a feel of the severity of the problem. I have taken some of the figures from the reports that has been published. For example, in 2023 alone, the global economy, according to an estimate, it suffered US dollar $8 trillion just due to various kinds of cyber attacks. So if you want to get a feel of what that $8 trillion say amounts to, according to some say experts, If it is measured as a country, cybercrime would be the third largest economy after the US and China. So it will be the third largest economy in the world if the cybercrime, the impact of cybercrime, or the economic suffering, the $8 trillion is equal to. And the worst thing is that in the next 2 years, that will go to US dollar $10.5 trillion. So despite all our efforts and the creation of security threat awareness and the need for cyber defense, despite all that, then it is estimated that the impact of cybercrime will keep increasing. And you can see that if you don't take any measures, then it will be still higher. And the cyber incidents in industrial ecosystems, that is the critical infrastructure, can not only cause economic, say, impact, but it could also have serious safety consequences as well as environmental environmental consequences. So it is not only important from the economical point of view, but also from the safety and the environmental protection point of view as well. Then we need to protect industrial systems against cyber attacks. And also there are, say, various estimates that cyber attack surface will increase an order of magnitude in the next 2 years because of various factors that was mentioned earlier, widespread use of IoT, Internet of Things, and various kind of applications, online transaction, autonomous systems, Industry 4.0 or 4.5. So the attack surface will keep on increasing. So just to, as a sideline, just I want to point out that the first computer virus, which was that time called as a creeper, was developed in 1971, almost 52 years ago. The purpose was not to create any malicious impact, but it was an experiment to study the potential impact of what we now call as a self-duplicating programs. How a program could self-duplicate along the computers connected on the ARPA network. So that many may consider as the start of, if you want to call it as a hacking or a generation of the virus. So within the 52 years, you see that things have changed a lot. And we also developed in the last 50 years various mechanisms to defend against cyber threats. Nevertheless, this issue of cybersecurity has become a cat and mouse game. So we make, say, we have advances in cybersecurity measures, prevention measures, but still the cyber threats are increasing. So basically, it is becoming a cat and mouse game. So both people are at both sides. There is an advancement. So it is becoming a catch-up scheme. So given the scenario, how we are going to manage it in the years to come? So cybersecurity is becoming a major concern. It will remain as a major concern, as I would like to call it, cybersecurity will remain a perpetual concern for everyone. It is not only for businesses and say government and the industry, but also every one of this as every one of the citizens as well. So how we are going to address the ever-growing cybersecurity threats as well as the potential impact they will create? That is the major questions facing us. And thing is that the AI, as I mentioned in the intro, has, say, revolutionized, if you want to call it, transformed almost every sector in every application. So can AI can help us in ensuring our digital world secure? So let us address this. What can AI can do in the domain of cybersecurity? So if you look, AI is both good as well as bad for cybersecurity. I will explain that soon. So AI is a new powerful arsenal and ally in the fight against current as well as emerging cyber attacks. As I said that it will be a perpetual concern. Even if you address some of the problems now, doesn't mean that it is the end of it. There will be new kind of threats will come, so we need to keep fighting against it. So AI is becoming a new powerful ally in the fight against cyber attacks. But the thing is that the same AI can be used as a tool to create cyber threats, new cyber threats. I'll discuss it elaborately later. So basically, AI could be used both by cyber defense, say, both for cyber defense as well as for creating more sophisticated cyber attacks. So basically, it empowers both cyber adversaries as well as for cyber defenses as well. That's why, if you look at the role of AI in the cybersecurity context, you can see that it is both good as well as bad. So let us examine the complex relationship between the AI and cybersecurity. It is a fairly complex relationship, as will I explain very soon. So whether AI is good from the context of cybersecurity, if you ask that, the answer is yes, as well as no, if you look at from a different angle. Let us look at from both perspectives and then see that how AI is going to reshape cybersecurity in the new digital world that we are going to face. So basically, as I just said, AI can empower cybersecurity, but AI could also be used for malicious purposes by cyber criminals, by cyber adversaries. That is the two different angles. And from the third angle is the AI system itself, whether it's a machine learning or generative AI or other kinds of statistical AI that is used in many applications, AI system itself would be compromised by cyber attacks. So it is more important to protect against cyber threats, protect the AI system against cyber threat as well. That is one side of the thing. The other two sides are AI could empower in securing our systems, but the cyber adversaries could also use the AI. That's where the complexity comes into. When I say the complex relationship or the nexus between the AI and cybersecurity side, AI say could be used in many ways depending on your intent, depending upon the purpose you would like to. So actually, if you look at that AI in the cybersecurity context, it could be summarized as shown in this figure. That's basically, it captures the essence of the role of AI in the cybersecurity. So where the overlap between the AI and cybersecurity occurs is that you can see as a three phases, as I just mentioned. Suppose if you want to give a name to that, you can consider one as a defensive AI. AI used for defending the systems, AI used as a mechanism for cyber defense. Basically, the AI helps to improve the cyber security. Basically, AI is used as a tool for cyber defense, as I said. That is one aspect that we generally call it cyber defense, defensive AI. And some call it as a green AI itself. That is a different aspect, but more common is a defensive AI. The other is that opposite of that is offensive AI. aids and empowers cyber attacks. So the AI is also used as a tool by cyber attacker for cyber attacks. And the other is the AI could be compromised by various kind of threats. And these threats are a new kind of threats, not the same threats as we face in a conventional IT computer systems. I will briefly discuss about that. So that is called as an adversarial AI, meaning that cyber attacks compromise AI systems and they affect the function of AI, and that means that the systems, the applications which depends on AI, so could get impacted. So these are the three different facets of the nexus: defense AI, offensive AI, and adversarial AI. Depending upon where you stand, then you can look at that. You can look at the AI, the role of AI in cybersecurity in that context. And as I said, that defense AI is basically AI empowered security. Basically, it can support and augment defensive operations. Basically, it can make security operation more efficient and autonomous, and also in some cases more effective as well. It can be applied across each of the security segments, that is monitoring, detection, threat hunting, response, proactive prevention, and protection. So it could be applied as a tool across many segments of cyber defense. And the another thing now we face is that, and with all the increasing threats and widespread use of computing and the interconnected systems, the managing cybersecurity has become a problem. And there is lack of personnel, and they are overworked, and there is a considerable stress among security professionals. So basically, that is on the other side, by AI and ML technologies could be used to automate some of the tasks, mundane tasks that is carried out by cybersecurity professionals. And they can also detect the AI could be used to detect some of the nuisance adversarial attacks and help in decision making. So there are various ways in which AI could be used as a tool in cyber defense. And with that, let me take you some specific areas where the AI can play a major role for cybersecurity operations. One is the behavioral analytics. Threat intelligence, it can say identify what kind of threats is likely to occur, and then say also you can say proactive measures. And the ransomware attack detection, so that you can prevent the ransom attack before it happens. And the another area is that smart identity governance and identity management. So basically, you have identity and access management, and you can make it much more smarter by way of making it very active, dynamic, and also more autonomous. And the strengthening the cloud security, as Professor Janagaram said, cloud has becoming an essential aspect of our, say, global infrastructure. So it need to be strengthened. So in that case, okay. And the other thing, area where AI could play a major role is online fraud detection. Credit card fraud or other kind of fraud, online, more or less real time or near real time fraud detection. And other aspect is there with generative AI and other kinds of AI techniques, the deep fakes have increased. So how AI could be used to identify deep fakes, and hence we can defend against deep fakes as well as discuss it. So in fact, if you look at it, you can apply AI either to make the operations much smarter or make it more efficient or make it autonomous with various roles. And the next few slides, I have given each one of them a little more details. And for the sake of, in the interest of time, I will just skip them so that for those who are interested can go through them a little later. So basically, the behavior analytics, it can be used very extensively. And in fact, they are currently being used. And AI can detect suspicious activity. They can analyze indicators of behaviors, what they call as in the security domain, what were IOB, indicators of behaviors. And also they can identify certain malware signatures more efficiently, and also how an attack was conducted can be analyzed so that the future attacks could be in a much more refined and fine-grained way. You can also use AI to do post-mortem how the attack was conducted and also what kind of attacks are emerging. And already there are several platforms by commercial manufacturers that you can make use of. Other is a threat intelligence, then it could be a static threat intelligence or operational threat intelligence. It can be used. And I mentioned about the ransomware attack. It is becoming a major problem now, ransomware attack. And identity and access management, a much smarter way. And online fraud detection, it is currently being used not only in the financial sector, but also in other sectors as well. And deepfakes, I mentioned about it. You are all familiar what kind of impact deepfake is creating, both socially, economically, as well as the other ways. So how we are, one is that the opportunities for creating deepfakes is increasing. Even without a deep knowledge can create deepfakes now. There are tools are available, and unfortunately, some of those tools are empowered by AI. And on the other hand, then we can use AI to identify deepfakes. So there are some techniques that also is an evolving area. As the deepfakes become more and more like original, defending or protecting against deepfakes also becoming more challenging. That's where some of the areas, both research is being done in how to detect deepfakes. That is becoming a more challenging as well. And there are, when we say about deepfakes, it could be voice, it could be the image, it could be video, and all sorts of things. And let me point out another problem. You may consider as a security problem or not. It depends upon how you view it. Now the misinformation, disinformation, fake news is increasing, has increased and continue to increase. And it has become a major social problem and also a problem, economical problem as well. And it has a serious impact. Then some consider it also a part of the defense mechanism, cyber defense mechanism, how we are going to minimize or how do we protect or how do we fight against misinformation. And we can use AI here to address or detect misinformation to some extent. But so far, AI has not been highly successful in that scenario. But unfortunately, AI also, particularly generative AI, is being used to create more convincing misinformation, disinformation, fake news. So it is becoming a more challenge now. So that is another area that it could be employed. And one of the, say, measures that has been tried, that is being tried in terms of the fake news is that content moderation, social media content moderation, can AI help in that area? Some work is being done, but we can't say that it is highly successful because the misinformation, the content is so convincing that even an AI could be find it harder to detect it, and this area is continuously evolving. So this is another area that is being employed. And currently, considering the potential of AI in cybersecurity, many of the corporates as well as the startups have developed AI-based security tools for cyber defense. There are many of them available. As you see here, I have given only some of them, and some of them are from the well-known, say, industry in the IT world. So I just given that it's not that it's just a theory, it is being put into practice, and there are many such AI security tools are available. One can make use of it. For those who are interested in to pursue further, I have given a few references where you can look at it. And if you can ask what is the benefit of applying AI for cyber defense? And there is a number of, benefits are there. So one is that improved cybersecurity protection against the increasing cyber threats, which are, as I said, there, it is becoming more harder to detect. But even in that cases, then improved the security protection and the expedited detection and response cycle time. Because in the security area, the early detection and response is very, very important. And the AI could do that because it can analyze large volumes of data, both in real time and in near real time do that. And I mentioned that increased cost saving, and also it addressed some of the shortage of people, skilled people in the cybersecurity area, and in many cases reduced error and inconsistencies because of the manual and semi-manual operation, which could be tiresome, and some improved workforce satisfaction, basically cybersecurity personnel and better defense coverage. There are many advantages are there. That's why there is increased interest in applying AI for cyber defense. And there are many cases that AI help to assess, so protect or stop the cyber attacks. And there were a few in the last year. And then just as an example, say that it is not only just a concept, not only that there are tools are available, then people are applying it and then finding say benefit from that. They were able to protect or identify threats much before they cause impact. So there are many such use cases. You can look at that. Okay, that is a good part of it. Yeah, it's a good strategy. Now let's look at the other side, because we need to have a comprehensive look at it. And in that context, let us see that what is AI could do? What is a malicious AI or offensive AI? And the use of AI to augment, empower offensive cyber attacks. So like AI could augment and empower cyber defense activities, it could also empower cyber attacks. In what ways it can impact is that, for instance, it can help in launching highly targeted attacks based on the industry, based on the suppose if it is targeted against individual, it could be very well customized, tuned to the interest or tuned to the vulnerabilities. It could be highly targeted. And also, sophisticated attacks could be generated more quickly and broadly than ever. And thing is that now, those kind of highly targeted attack could be generated even by someone, those who are not familiar with that area, even with little knowledge, because using AI as a tool, now it easily cyber attacks could be generated. That is a very sad part of it, very worrying part of it. Earlier, you need to be a, say, highly skilled personnel, even with less skilled personnel, even can now create more impact for cyber attacks. And it's all, as I said there, it can help create stealthier and faster, more effective attacks that can blend into normal background activity. That's what it becomes very difficult to separate out the deep fakes and the phishing attacks. It looks like normal, but it is hard to detect it. And these AI security threats, AI-driven security threats are changing the security landscape and threat vectors. On one side, we are having a new kind of technologies that changes the threat vector and threat landscape. But AI being used or can be used by cyber attackers, by those who commit cyber crimes, and that creates another kind of problem. So basically, AI is impacting the landscape as a threat landscape as well as threat vectors. So basically, we require AI-powered defenses. Some of these cyber attacks that has been generated, that is generated by AI, it is hard to detect by conventional means. So they need a very sophisticated mechanism. That's where we go into what is called the AI-powered defense. So basically, you can see the nexus complex nexus the AI plays in the cybersecurity area. So as I just mentioned, AI changes the threat landscape, and I have given so for those who are interested in yet further information. And particularly since in the last 1 year, the AI or the generative AI has come into picture. It has all of a sudden become a wave, and it is being used for many different kind of applications. But the cyber say culprits or cyber criminals and cyber hackers also got hold of generative AI for generating misinformation, targeted phishing emails, and generating deepfakes and all that. So the generative AI plays a very can play very so if you want to call it a bad role in the context of cybersecurity. And I talked about what is a spear phishing attack is something which is specifically targeted with a specific audience in mind, and also by taking into some gathering information from the social media posts and things like that, very convincing attack that can be regenerated. And that is second part of this. Now let me come to the third part. The AI itself can be susceptible to cyber attacks. So we need to secure AI because AI is being applied, whether we acknowledge it or not, it is used in many ways in many applications. And if cyber hackers try to attack AI, it could create a major impact. So on the other side, security professionals have a special role to play in securing the AI system itself against malfunctioning, against cyber threat attacks. So that is another side of the story, the cyber thing. And why the hackers are interested in attacking the AI system is that it gives a great incentive to attack the system. It is deployed to protect it. Suppose you apply AI for cyber defense. And if someone can attack that system, then they can easily get through. So there is greater interest among cyber hackers to attack the AI system so that the fence itself could be easily attacked. So that's the basic intention behind that. And there are various ways AI system could be susceptible to cyber attack. And I don't want to go into the details into it. It is an emerging area, and also it's a bit more complex area as well. There what is called data poisoning, data biasing, data or model theft, and adversarial input, and things like that. There are various ways you can try to modify the behavior of AI systems. And so there are various ways. And also, there are now people are working on how to protect the AI systems against those kind of attacks. That is the emerging area. And basically, what is an adversarial example is that adversarial example is one in which you input to the machine learning system data which corrupts the output in a way that it can corrupt the output. That's called as an adversarial example. I'll just show you just pictorially. This is a very simplistic case and how the impact it, so you can see that. So first, just to give you some idea. So you see here, what is C on the area is the data, So basically, when you give a stop, when you let us say that it's a image recognition system, then if you see a stop sign, it is classified as a stop, and then say let us say that it is an autonomous car, it applies the brake correction. Then the same system, if you add with the say adversarial examples, as I said in the previous slide, then the same stop sign, the system could consider it as a sort of a speed limit, as a speed limited region of 45. Then you can say that in instead of stop, autonomous car could go at the 45 speed limit. So that way, they can modify the behavior of AI system by injecting or by providing certain adversarial examples or input that can modify the systems. There are other things you can do. So basically, the adversarial examples have major consequences in computer vision, automatic speech recognition, and fake news detection and things like that. So on one side, you can develop a system to detect the fake news, but people can attack the system itself, which is used to detect the fake news. So that is the other side of it. And even ChatGPT or generative AI becomes victim of cyber attacks. And now, as many of you know, you can develop a custom GPT, custom chat GPT or custom GPTs. And basically there, what people, hackers use it, what is called a prompt injection risk, is that they modify the prompts and then basically then the GPT what they trained gets affected and then it gives the incorrect results. That is one thing. And ChatGPT itself faces an outage after an alleged denial of service attack. But although denial of service attacks is not directly related to that, but denial of service attacks has made the system inoperational of ChatGPT. So it's the other side of the story. So basically, securing generative AI as well as other forms of AI becomes more important. And now recently, some work has been done on how to secure generative AI. I've given some references. The one is the Forrester report, which is a fairly good one, and also the other recent paper published this month, the necessity of and best practices when implementing generative AI. And then there are, say, what is called as the OWASP, Open World Application Security Project, which is a non-profit profit. It is the more of a open source kind of thing. They come up with what are the top AI security risks. You can go through that. It's a fairly long document. It's an evolving document. And you can go through that to look into how AI itself could be affected by cyber threats. And this is the chart they have provided. I don't want to go into that. There is a reference. And this also is fairly recent. Last month they published it. And now, this is a very interesting development. Just this week, UK published first global guideline on securing AI system or how to secure AI system development. And in this, there are two special features I would like to bring to your attention. One is that it is a joint effort, or at least it was endorsed by 17 major countries. So that's why it is becoming a global guideline. And the second thing is that it covers all the key stages of AI development cycle, meaning that design, development, deployment, as well as operation and maintenance. So basically this guideline, which was just published this week and is available in the open domain, talks about what we need to do to secure during the design phase, development phase, and deployment phase, and operation maintenance base. Of course, this should be an evolving document. This is the first release, and then when people start using it, and the various countries are promoting it to follow the development of this. So it is becoming a AI versus AI fight. You need to fight AI threats with AI defenses. As the subcode goes, you should not bring knife to a gunfight. If it's a gunfight, the opposite party also bring the gun. So in a similar way, we need to fight threat through and by AI with AI. So that is the AI versus AI situation is there. Even in reality, practical case, it's also human versus human. There are mechanisms. For example, take the police and the thieves. It's again a human versus human. We have regulations on all that, but despite that, this fight between a human versus human, in this case AI versus AI, also will continue forever. So AI is and will be a significant ally against advanced cyber attacks. AI, although they can cause a negative impact on cybersecurity, AI could largely benefit. And interestingly, Capgemini did a research recently, and 70% of organizations said they cannot identify nor respond cyber threats without AI. And many cybersecurity experts, as well as the industry, are coming to realization that at least AI could help them in defending against cyber threats. Whether they are able to do it or not, but at least there is a greater awareness, and awareness need is there. But I thought that it will not be complete unless look at that. What are the problems in adopting it? As I said, that there are people who are adopting it, deploying AI, and various tools are available, and many more tools will come in the near future. And both startups as well as established companies are working on that. Already there are many systems are there. So still there are barriers. And one of the barriers mainly identified is that lack of qualified AI cybersecurity experts. When I say AI cybersecurity experts, meaning that those who are skilled in AI as well as cybersecurity, basically who are knowledgeable in both the areas. Now there are many people who are good at AI, are good at cybersecurity, but we need that interface that need to be established. That is, they are good in some aspect of AI and good in some aspect of cybersecurity. They could see the marriage between the AI and the next steps they need to bring it. And of course, there are shortage of people in the cybersecurity area. But when you look at that, both who are capable of understanding the potential of AI and understanding the risks of the system, and then see how AI could be applied, there are not many people. It is an area, of course, it is also evolving area. And Gartner, in a recent report, identified that by 2025, lack of talent or human failure will be responsible for half of significant cyber incidents. So that is the one area. And that's why now the education institution as well as the other training institution have a role in developing people in the, apart from the general cybersecurity area, basically in the AI cybersecurity area. And of course, there are other problems, other areas, barriers as well. Data complexity, lack of training data, because AI systems depend on training and then lack of training data. Because as you know, many victims don't share the threat intelligence or how the systems are hacked. They don't share much of their data. So we have a lack of data for training. And of course, we need to choose the proper AI tools that need the skills, and high cost of AI solutions is also indicated as one of the barriers. And of course, their lack of awareness itself. So they need for a better awareness and better training and better education, as well as we need to share the threat intelligence as well as training of the data. And having said that, because AI systems also have limitations, but human beings are good at certain things, as you all know, such as intuition, critical thinking, contextual understanding, and all that. But AI systems are good at, say, of analyzing large volume of data, doing it much faster and in a less prone way. So cybersecurity could be better addressed by both human and AI teaming it. AI alone cannot solve it. Human alone cannot solve it. Basically, it should be sort of a collaborative work between the human and the AI. And there was recently an article, which discusses in detail about how AI and human can work together to address cybersecurity. And this is another report, Reinventing Cybersecurity with AI. And to sum it up, AI is going to be extremely beneficial, and it is already used to the field of cybersecurity, but it's also going to be beneficial to the cyber criminals. We need to acknowledge that. So with that, basically, we need to move forward to see that how we can protect against the increasing more sophisticated cyber threats. And here again, no matter that what we do, how sophisticated system is that, as we all know, in the cybersecurity area, humans are the weakest link. So the better awareness and other things. So basically, one irresponsible end user can completely devoid of all security measures. So that also need to factor into that. So better awareness is also important. So the way forward in this direction is that a lot of research is still needed. Research on how AI could be used to secure the cyber systems and the need for development of the skills I mentioned there. And then some organization has coming up with the AI cybersecurity strategy, meaning that how to, already they may have a cybersecurity strategy, how to bring in the AI into that arena. So how do you modify it? How do you bring that? And how do you adapt adoption period? And the training, I mentioned about that, and the collaboration and the sharing the threat intelligence between the various parties, as well as between the human and the machines. So those are some of the areas that we need to look forward to. And last year, I published a report on the basis of highlighting some of the things what I talked about. It is available in the open domain that those who are interested can look at it. And also I will make available the slides, which gives further references for you to, I will make it available on my website, you can look at it. And there is another paper, which is the yearly version of it, but more detailed version. And also, as I said, the healthcare data is becoming more and more attractive to cyber professionals. Now, no matter come across many cases wherein cyber crimes, cyber criminals have attacked healthcare data. So with that, so I would like to thank you all for for your patient listening. I hope this gives you enough inspiration to pursue further. This is an evolving area. There is a lot need to be done, both as a researcher, as a developer, as well as an executive or a manager. So with that, I would like to thank you all. And also I would like to thank the organizers as well as my co-speakers, because all put together, I think that it makes a sort of a good overview of the current situation in which cybersecurity landscape is and what we need to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there are a few questions in the chat box. I request you to answer these questions, sir.
Yes, please. Can you just read it out? I'm not following the chat. If you don't mind, if you can read it out, I can try to answer if possible. Or any questions from those who are presenting?
So the question is there no solution for dark web?
One question, is there a solution to the dark net?
So the question is there no solution for dark web?
Yes, because dark web self-detection. Yes, basically, one way of looking at the dark web is that the whatever the data hacked and everything is made available on the dark web, and also dark web has a lot of ways in which you can create threads. So basically, it becomes a dark web becomes some sort of a secured, if you want to call it, or a very restricted medium wherein either you make available the say hacked data, or wherein you make available the information on how to you can create threats, how to hack it, and those kind of information. So basically, I see that the role of AI in that is probably you can see that whether if someone claims whether they have the data on the dark web, probably it can assess whether the data is genuine or they are making a fake claim, and those kind of things is possible. And so far, not much has been done from that angle, but that could one potential area. Suppose you make a ransomware attack and then say that you have a data hacked, and if the ransom is not paid, then the data will be leaked on the dark web. Then what could, if that at least sample data is available, could also make use of some AI as a tool to detect whether it is a genuine or it is a that itself is a fake data, and then it's a fake claim by as a ransomware attack.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you sir, for your valuable in-depth talk on how AI is reshaping the cybersecurity landscape. Our next guest is Dr. N. Sarat Chandrababu, Advisor, Data Security Council of India. Dr. Sharat worked as the Executive Director of Society for Electronic Transactions and Security, Chennai, as ED CDAC Bangalore, and Founder Director of CDAC Hyderabad. He worked at Department of Electronics, Government of India, Indian Telephone Industries Limited, Bangalore, and worked as faculty at REC Bangalore. Presently advisor to Data Security Council of India and honorary principal advisor to Broadband India Forum. He received the prestigious Vasvik Industrial Research Award 2019 for the contributions to information and communication technology. He published close to 80 papers in national and international journals and conferences, guided PhDs to the completion. Today, Sir will be delivering talk on securing connected world of IoT and IOI awareness for citizens. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Body money. Stop.
Good evening to everyone. It's an honor for me to be here and delivering a talk on Computer Security Day. Thank the SETS and other organizers, including Data Security Council of India, quickly, Mohan and Dr. Subramanian for inviting me. I'm very happy to actually listen to the two professors who have given the best possible what is happening in the area of cybersecurity, starting from the AI to quantum technologies to artificial. And in fact, many of the introductory things are more clear from their side. So I may also have some kind of a overlap some of those aspects. I would continue. So the today's topic from given to me is securing connected world of IoT. And so the just very briefly to because as Mohan said that I should introduce Data Security Council of India. Data Security Council of India is a part of NASCOM, which is a not-for-profit industry body, mainly working for data protection aspects and supporting the government also in policy making and also promoting the industry in the direction of developing cybersecurity preparedness of the nation. And this is there almost for 15 years now, and it has gone into many directions. It has created a number of white papers, number of reports, the IoT security that we are talking, AI security we are talking, quantum security. Almost all these areas, papers were made and they are available on the website. You can actually see the website of ACA.in, given the bottom. I'm not going to read anything, but one interesting thing is those who are interested, they can look at the annual Information Security Summit they conduct every year. It's a very mega event of spread over 4 days and starts on 19th December and people, I think from all walks, especially the industry, government, R&D, academics, everyone will attend that. So I would request you all to look at that and how we try to do that. As part of Data Security Council of India, Ministry of Electronics and IT created a National Center of Excellence, which is secondly executed by the Data Security Council of India. National Center of Excellence support. The main objective is we know that a lot of research happening in Indian institutes, R&D labs like SETS, CDAC, and all that. Not necessarily that entire funding that's happening to the government is finally going from the proof of concept to the productization and commercialization. So one of the key objectives of National Center of Excellence is to identify the good research that's happening in research labs, especially in the academic institutes, and see that it is productized and commercialized through the startup companies. So one way is creating the startups and nurturing them, mentoring them, and giving them an opportunity to work closely with the identified academic institutes. And also a small funding of 6 months duration projects for getting into the POC in all the areas of quantum, AI kind of things is also introduced by NCOE. We have last year just completed 6 months projects by 18 academic institutes as reputed as IITs to Sierra Institute kind of labs are all part of it, working in areas of edge computing, cyber security related, AI related, adversarial learning, and so many things. Many things, most of these 18 projects are covered, and we have come out, and now we are connecting them to the industry startups. There are around 150 product startups under the National Center of Excellence who are registered, and we are trying to connect them and see how it can happen. So we also conduct a lot of events. For example, December 11th, we are conducting a privacy engineering summit in Bangalore. And this, if you go into the DSA site, you can enter into the National Center of Excellence. But if you want to directly go to the National Center of Excellence, n-coe.in, you can see. There you will get. This is just very briefly, I hope. Fine. So we are right now, we have already seen the, I think Professor has covered on the automotive sector. Today, suddenly, I find that every cybersecurity event, every cybersecurity team or anything covers case studies as the connected cars or driverless cars. Okay. So now, and also we are looking at the drones flying and self-driving cars and upgraded human beings with a lot of gadgets with them, right? So the Internet of Things or Internet of Everything and Internet of Life. That is, we are part of Internet. We are ourselves getting viewed into the Internet, and so we'll see how things happen. A lot of technologies, as I mentioned, AI, robotics, 4D printing, and so on and so forth, is driving the entire world. So this is just an example of the smart city and smart environments where moving and flying transport, right? So this is just a new field. But two key people I remember, one is who had the vision and who had also named this interesting word. One is a Mark Weiser, Palo scientist who has, way back in 1980s, 1991, he has coined the word ubiquitous computing. Ubiquitous computing is the word where we know that there was a mainframe computer, there are a lot of dumb terminals, there is one computer, many were working. Then we had a desktop computers, that is one-to-one, and now we have one person and many computers. Right? Every one of us have, every device has a computer. So this is what Mark Weiser has had a vision that the computing will not be visible; it will be going into the day-to-day life. So you cannot say washing machine as a computer, right? But it has a computer. Every gadget in house or outside without the microcontroller. So that is intelligence is available. So it's basically a computer, but we don't call it as a computer. So it is woven into our day-to-day life. So when it comes to the Internet of Things, it's an upgradation of the when Mark Weiser said that it is the ubiquitous computing, he didn't mean that it is connected to the internet. But he meant that things, machine to machine interactions would happen and so on. So whereas later the Kevin Austin in 2009 he coined name Internet of Things, where it was an ability that things get connected to the internet and there will be interactions between human to computer and using the wireless technology. So this is the kind of a thing they have thought of visionaries. So IoE is an extension of IoT. If you see, it is the things getting connected to the computers, whereas the IoE, Internet of Everything, we are talking not only things, it is the processes, people, and the data also connected to the internet, and is more end-to-end, and a lot of business opportunities can be created using the Internet of Everything. It can enter into the productization, and it can end-to-end business environment. It can create kind of benefit, profitability. So all those issues could be designed using an Internet of Everything. Right. So this is just to say that Internet of Things or Internet of Everything will have sensors. Because this is then we have connectivity and we have people and processes. So all these elements come together. We call it as Internet of Everything. You know that Internet of Things is mainly visible because in the real-time world, everything has to be, basically sensing becomes an important. We wanted to have the power meter. We need to know how much power is consuming. The sensor there, and we need to know the water levels. We need a sensor there, and that outcome has to be connected to the through the microcontroller or something through a Wi-Fi communication or a wired communication to a server or to a computer. So this connectivity right from the sensor to a decision-making server can happen. And now we are talking about the Internet of Things. These kind of technologies were there in the process control automation, but they were all confined to the factories within the shop floors. But with the internet being there, now we are connecting the network extended beyond the automotive industry, and it is coming up. But there are also issues which we will be talking. That is, when you connect process control kind of industrial control systems to the internet, whatever people have talked about the cybersecurity, it also comes into the real productization, manufacturing locations. That is not advisable. So there is a separation of on the internet. So you use internet for the benefit of doing many other analysis and all that, but use for the manufacturing part wherever is going to lead to problems like even certain effects. You remember the Stuxnet, which is considered to be the worst possible cyber attack, the first cyber war. It is an eye opener in the entire world that the cyber attacks can actually affect the nuclear systems. Right? So it is done very intelligently, and whereas the actual network is separate from the internet, but still they were able to do that using a kind of software upgradation in the PLC, and which is working connecting to the Windows system, and the PLC was trying to speed up or reduce multiple speeds of rotating the nuclear system such a way that due to wear and tear of the fast movement, those things failed and the nuclear system was, entire plant was stopped. And now it can even lead to the fatal accidents that it will not stop at some point of time. So the dangers with Stuxnet has created a wave of realization, and the new area has come, that is OT, operational technology. So for that cyber security, we call it as industrial IoT also. IoT, because basically sensors and actuators end to end is there. So in between, we have the IoT, right? So this is just to give you that the Internet of Things is now spreading onto too many applications, transportation, healthcare, smart environments, personal and social, futuristic technologies like robo-taxi, and we're talking about the driverless cars, connected cars, and all these things. So this is just to give you a feel that the IoT is spreading into many applications. It is just an example. IoT is what is happening is you are getting a lot of data through the Internet of Things. Like you're measuring sensors. Earlier we were talking about 100 sensors, but we are talking now about million sensors, and the collected data has to go into the through the wireless or wired connection to a cloud to the servers. So then our data centers where it will be analyzed and finally it will be taken. But in case this is exactly same as water cycle, how the whatever water reserves are there, it is evaporated and then condensation happens and rain, precipitation and rainfall, and that rain once again go through the cycle, right? Water cycle. So same way we have the cycle of Internet of Things gives you a lot of data. The data through the clouds here, these are not our clouds bringing water, but it will process the data, and that your data once again gives you a lot of intelligence, which will make sure that whatever number of sensors that we have used will be multiple, will be increased to get better data, and it goes on. So it's in a loop, like water cycle. We have a data cycle through the IoT, big data, cloud, and so on. So this is just tell you that. So there is a convergence of the things, Internet of Things, enterprise systems, and cloud. Here there are few examples in IoT systems. They are used for some prototypes were developed here. For the one is for the water treatment plant automation, another for the irrigation, and there are a lot of devices for there. And originally we started with wireless sensor networks, but it's more small devices which will be having the sensor connected to that, which will have a microcontroller, and which will have a wireless communication, and which can be connected. These devices can be connected to a gateway, which we normally call it as a edge devices, edge computing, and then it can go through Wi-Fi or 5G, 6G kind of technologies to the cloud, to the server, and so on. This is actually a pilot done in a Kurnool district. There are around 25 villages. The sensors were installed, and the sensors were basically measuring the leaf wetness, soil moisture kind of parameters, and these parameters were taken to the through the gateway, multiple locations collected, and through a gateway does not be a server, where the for the farmer, what kind of pest control can happen, pest attack can happen. Core warming, the pest attack was done here, and so that they say will actually go as a local language in Telugu for Kurnool district. They get the whether the pest attack is going to happen or not. Core warning comes. If the pest attack comes, how much chemical they have to apply, and so on and so forth. Those advisories also come. This is a kind of called as a Harita Priya project in the government. It's quite some time back. Now I think now the government, central government is also looking this as a major requirement in all agricultural things to increase productivity, reduce the use of fertilizers and so on. This is just one example of IoT. So IoT framework, if you see, if there are things, and you will connect them, and you collect the data, and you learn from the collected data, maybe using the ML, machine learning algorithms or deep learning algorithms, and then you do improve the quality of service that you're already providing. And this create new business models and so on. And a lot of technologies goes into this. Okay, so we have seen common sensors will be there, actuators will be there, sensing, and finally, whatever decision you have taken, you can even control that. So I'm not going too many areas, but you can see that a lot of technologies are connected to this. IoT is a small device, Internet of Things, everything is a device, but it is having addressability. One of the key things that we probably look at is there's this space of IPv4 is going to reduce. IPv6 has an opportunity through the IoT. Still, it is not effectively utilized, but there are protocols specifically coming for the Internet of Things like 6LoWPAN, where low power personal area networks. Two constraints, resource constraints will be there because these devices are not just available anywhere. They will be in remote places and battery operated. And so, how do you conserve the kind of power as well as the memory space for putting algorithms into that important thing. But one of the cyber, because IoT being a computer, once again, all cyber attacks that we talk about are also possible on all IoT devices. And the problems here is the constraint of resources and also the large in number. So how do you manage this number? Simple example is if you want to use the PKI infrastructure to identify all these things and to provide signatures and so on and maintain the CA and certifying authority kind of thing. So it requires a large amount of space and the amount of computing that is required for each device becomes enormous. So how do you manage the PKI? It's a big challenge in the IoT environment. There are a lot of protocols supporting this. Bluetooth, what communication happens, Bluetooth, Bluetooth low energy, Wi-Fi, LoRa, just professor has given a field example on long range protocols and LoWPAN. Zigbee is a very popular protocol which is used in a smaller environment, 100 meters and so on and so forth. So there, like any other communication, there are multiple layers here. There are most of the IoT protocols comes with the adaptation layer, and on top of it, you use the TCP/IP. For example, you see the LoWPAN. There is a subnet layer on top of it, IPv6 layer and transport layer, application layer. So this is generally a jargon of cybersecurity. We talk about triad, confidentiality, integrity, availability, over and above. We talk about non-repudiation. We talk about authorization, authentication, right, and privacy. Privacy is not cybersecurity, but we need to address both. Especially in IoT goes into different applications like agriculture to health to personal applications. So the data becomes very private. So how do you take care of IoT devices privacy? I'm not going to deal into those aspects here, but one of the key things that you have to worry about, like I mentioned, the PKI infrastructure, privacy also becomes an important thing. The bottom line, you can see that is at least a standard framework: detection, prevention, detection, response, and recovery. Okay, so these are the components of the cybersecurity framework, which is common for everything. Here is a small example of how automotive security is affected due to the attacks. So here we have, you see here, there is a target keeper and there is a attacker, there is a vehicle. So the Tesla car actually had an attack and people could actually steal the vehicle. That was the first automotive sector attack happened. So in this particular thing, the attacker device has used the they use the emulated what we call it, body control module, where hello, hello, are you clear? Yeah. Hello. Yes, the attack device will will have a way of identifying the vehicle number, that is the vehicle identification number, because mostly vehicle identification number was available close to the driving sheet, windshield. So the attacker device notes that, and based on that, it will go nearer to the target keeper and try to get the various credentials of the thing and emulate that on its uh, flash memory. And then the next step, it will go close to the target vehicle and actually first it will create an impression to the target key, original key of that. This is the vehicle, and so it will share. It will the dialogue happens based on the replay attacks or plain text attacks. So they will be able to get the actual what you call the various commands that would be used by target people to connect to the vehicle. So based on these attacks that it is received, so it will actually go close to the vehicle and operate the vehicle and open that. So this is all because for every communication, the target people didn't actually check there is no signing verification, and it was in the earlier stages. Now by now they would have corrected, but the first automotive thefts happened based on this kind of an attack. Attack device was created and emulated the functions of the vehicle one side and the fob on the other side, and gave a fob the feeling that this is the vehicle, and gave a feeling to the vehicle that this is the original fob. So with that, you are able to do. There are various steps. There are totally 7-8 steps here. I'm not going to every step, but it's in principle that is what is happening. Using the communication using the Bluetooth low energy or the low frequency communications between these devices, this situation happens. Okay. So this is just to give you that cybersecurity is becoming an important thing in automotive sector. Automotive sector is one of the good example of Internet of Things, because a lot of sensors will be there and a lot of decisions using the internally. There is a controller area network for which all devices are connected. It is considered that hundreds of devices are there. A lot of engine control units are available. A lot of intelligence is built into the car now. And millions of code, software code is now, million lines of code is inside the cars now. Especially when we talk about the connected cars and driverless cars, the amount of software there is. It's actually called as a software-defined driven vehicle or software-defined vehicle or computer on wheels. So these are the things that automotive people are talking about. And there are a lot of attacks, malware attacks and data breaches are happening. Data is becoming an important thing everywhere because every car has a lot of, if you can see, it is not just the internal control units, infotainment and various other things that comfort level sensors, whatever we have. So everything creates data, and that data is valuable for the business purposes. So this data analysis would happen. So data breaches, even in the automotive sector, is becoming an important aspect. And supply chain attacks, because the devices, the entire automotive sector is a very long supply chain. And so anywhere, anybody, any the company introduces some kind of malware or anything that would affect the entire system. So it is expensive, and also not only that, in case of normal computers, we separate security and privacy. But in case of the automotive sector, security and privacy are, security and safety are considered together. when we talk about security, we're not talking about safety in normal traditional systems. But in case of automotive sector, security and safety goes together. So a lot of standards have come, especially SAE standard 21434 talks about road vehicle safety in the context of cyber security. And so it will see the entire life cycle of the automotive, right from the design to the finally going onto the road and maintenance of the vehicle. Entire life cycle, this standard defines what cyber security protections have to be taken. This is getting accepted. This is the Society of Automotive Engineers standard, which is becoming an ISO standard. There are a number of European standards also. So, in case of the three important strategies they said to reduce the security in case of automotive sector is use security by design. So this is one of the key things for the Internet of Things also. Because Internet of Things, the devices are from different manufacturers, of plethora of manufacturers, plethora of designs. So you have, and security was not thought of when these systems were designed. They are there for years, decades now. And now, when the automation is coming in, it is an important thing that you need to look at the security aspects. So security by design becomes an important thing. And because if security has to happen at various layers, you have to consider the other principle, defense in depth, which is normally a standard for the operation technology, OT technologies, or cyber physical systems, or industrial IoT, and so on. So the and standards, whatever they compliance also has to come. And some of the aspects you have to look at is security testing has to be done, supply chain security has to be taken care, and proper skills have to be developed. These are the things. And smart speaker can also, you have to be careful on that, that whatever your Alexa or anything, that you talk and you get something. So there are some tips. This is, you can see, one of the things I wanted to convey through this is there is an ISEA program of ministry, Information Security Education and Awareness Program. In the Information Security Education and Awareness Program, they create a lot of awareness material in terms of small stories and brochures, posters, and also they conduct awareness programs. If anybody, any organization invites, there are hundreds of institutes who are participating in this program, and they are in turn multiplying the role of spreading the awareness. So they keep this one poster for how they made it for smart speaker can be a smart spy. Okay, so they have given enable voice recognition to recognize only your voice while giving commands. So normally, if any voice it recognizes, then you know that adversary also can give a command and you may go into the problem. Be careful what you share. Do not share personal and sensitive information when you do that. Make sure your Wi-Fi is encrypted. Wi-Fi is a very important thing, right? For all those things are connected to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth Low Energy. So your security mainly depends on the communication. So BLE has to be taken care. Wi-Fi definitely you have to make sure that WPA2 is there. That is that Wi-Fi access, Wi-Fi protected access. WPA. Earlier WEP was there. Wired equivalent privacy. That is not to be done because a lot of issues are there. So you have to use the WPA2. Right now, WPA3 is also coming. So which you have, that is one of the key security things for the connectivity technology. And be watchful about what you connect, avoid connecting to door lock, surveillance camera to prevent thefts. Remember to mute, turn off the microphone when not in use. Enable notifications via email or phone. So these are two tips, and you get for many things on IoT from this ISA program as well. And this is talking about similarly, we just talked about the microphone. Here it talks about smartphone IoT devices, how to secure. So one of the key observations, there will be all these devices come with default user IDs and passwords. So that you have to change because otherwise it is a company set things. People know the famous attack that happened in on the DIN server, what we call suddenly getting the popular attack, Mirai attack. So that happened through all default. It is first gone through the CCTV cameras wherever having the default addresses. They took control of those devices, and they in turn become bots and they connect the victim systems. And this way, they have multiplied to such an extent that a large number of IoT devices were become botnet army, and they in turn attack the victims, and such a way that DDoS attacks were created for the DIN server. You know, the DIN server is a DNS server, and if it is not resolving the things, so everything that particular company which was providing the service would not provide the service to the all popular companies like PayPal, Twitter, Netflix, and all that in 2016. So it all came standstill. So that kind of massive attack happens. This is another important thing. In IoT attack happens because of the lack of preparedness. Because of this is one example that they were using the default. They have not changed the company set things are hard coded passwords and so on and so forth. So there was a need for that. So this is just to talks about change default settings, manage passwords, use multi-factor authentication, right? So there is nowadays we are all aware of that. Control the access, update the software. Updating the software in normal things, you know that you get when you switch on and connect to the system automatically. It will ask for an update now or later or something. If you're going beyond, it will automatically do that, all that, right? Updation with the updates is routine. When it comes to the IoT, they are in the field, devices are in the field in various places. So how do you do that? Over the air, you have to patch that, and a lot of devices, not many different types of things. So the patching becomes a major thing, but you have to update. If there is an update, there is a if automotive sector, if there is a particular vulnerability is there, you have to, the moment it is known, you have to immediately patch it. Otherwise, it will lead to a fatal accident also, right? So these are the things we have to look at. And for securing the routers, we spoke about the Wi-Fi things. And I'm not going into the details here. UI attack, we just made a mention. And there is a top 10 OWASP vulnerabilities or risks of IoT customer. If I read out few, weak, guessable, or hard-coded passwords. That's what we just talked about. Insecure ecosystem interfaces, use of insecure, outdated components. So, you know, in IoT environments, most of the time devices are there for decades. Normally, we change our mobile once in a year. If we are very rich, or once in at least 3 years or 5 years, right? Otherwise, you feel very bad. Whereas when it comes to this IoT in the other systems, it is going to be it's there lying for 10 years. PLCs or RTUs or whatever sensors, they're all there. And if the smartness is built into that 10 years back, there could be some kind of vulnerability which is come to the notice of everyone, and then the attack will be possible, or it will definitely happen if the attacker interest is in that direction. So like that, we have top 10 OS normally comes out with top 10 lists in different areas. I think Professor has also shown for the AI, right? So similarly, we have here also lack of device management, lack of physical hardening, and so on and so forth. And different attacks, whatever happens in regular things like DDoS attacks, vulnerability exploits, malware attacks, man-in-the-middle attacks, and so on and so forth, that happens in this. So this just to clearly give you half a dozen things. Insecure components, unnecessary open ports. This is another important thing. Is you should close whatever ports you are not using. Insufficient logging mechanisms, inadequate privacy protection and encryption. Encryption also, because these are all resource constrained. You can't use the regular algorithms of AES 256 or 5000 for security. You have to go for AES 128, or you have to go for the lightweight crypto algorithms which are designed specifically, which are certified for encryption, for signing, and for hashing, all those things. So you have to make use of those list of things. There are standard components and which are being used. And also implementing that in software or hardware. If you implement in software, it takes 10 times time. You have to implement in hardware. So that the design has to be done, and right from the microcontrollers are now coming with the TI and all, they are coming with the microcontrollers, hard-coded AES algorithm, 128 algorithm for most of the IoT applications. So the hard-coded password, all these things. So what you need to do, be careful in choosing the devices. The another thing now, India also coming, National Trust Center for IoT is coming up. CDOT is establishing that. So where every component that goes into an IoT environment, as a device, IoT device, or the components that are used to build the IoT device itself, entire supply chain, they have to be registered to get a certification that they are okay, they are safe, trusted. So to make it a national trust center is getting established. The trust becomes important. Once you, in the supply chain, all components are trusted, then what you build will become a useful thing. So you also need to go for map and monitor all connected devices, change default passwords, and use secure settings. Understand each device accessibility setting and permissions. So you should have the what we call this role-based access control. RBAC should be there for various people who work in IoT environment, which is true for the highly sophisticated computing systems also. And use network segmentation. Use within that, because hundreds of devices are connected. Don't connect everything to one gateway or like that. You put different gateways and see that there is a bit of tolerance taken care. And even if failure happens, it is not at all 1,000 devices of the process control industry or smartphone or smart city will go down. 5 minutes. Disable unused functions and connections. These are all the things. Once again, this is a big thing. Each layer, what security threats are there? We have the application layer, code injection, buffer overflow, phishing attack, all what you hear, the sensitive data manipulation. Middleware, flooding attacks, signature wrapping attacks, SQL injection attacks. And network layer, you have DOS, cyber attack. Here you find some new words, cyber attack. So where one device can fake like many devices. It will have multiple identities. So it will do many things. So you think that there are 10 people, but there's only one fellow who is actually trying to do like a 10 people. So that is some cyber is some disorder lady movie or novel. So cyber that name of the lady cyber or something like that. So that's some high disorder. Sinkhole attack. Sinkhole attack is another interesting thing. Only happens in wireless sensor networks and devices where a device is going to give an impression that it is very close to you. Actually, the data has to go through the sensors finally to a gateway and out. So by doing that, you create certain paths. Routing protocols will work and say that this is the shortest path. But the sinkhole creates an impression that it is in the shortest paths of things. So all information comes to us, so it syncs. That means it is getting the information. It will take a decision whether it has to send it or just drop it or modify it and send. All things can happen in the sinkhole attack. There are variants of grey hole, wormhole attacks in the thing for different purposes. Man in the middle replay attacks. Replay attacks are very popular in IoT environments, especially the automotive sector. The Tesla car attack happened for the fog attack was the replay attack. Then we have the perception layer. Here, the bottommost layer, because it is sensors and fitted with that, sensors are considered to be giving you perception. So it is not called as a physical layer. In IoT environments, they call it as a perception layer. Fuse dropping, RF jamming, tag cloning, spoofing attacks there. So this is a list of various protocols that is used. If you see the protocols, perception layer, it is a ZigBee protocol, 802.15.4, and RFID, Bluetooth, low energy, and all those things. In middleware, UDP, TCP will come. Mostly UDP people use there because it's a real-time environment and it is a connectionless, so it's more useful. And then we go to the IPv4, IPv6, ICMP, ZigBee, and all those things. But COAP is a very constrained application protocol. Constrained. It is something to do with the constraint. Is a constraint. Resource constraint is there, so this protocol will take care of those resource constraints and the constraint access protocol. And MQTT is once again the queuing telemetry transport protocol, machine queuing telemetry transport protocol. So these are all data applications there. So I will not once again go into all these things, but there is an IoT security framework at layers, so you need to get all that. I will not go into the AI part. AI everywhere, right? So you can't escape. Like Professor has told, AI could be used for defending. for all IoT attacks also, you can use AI technologies, machine learning techniques to see that some new zero-day attack is happening, or in future we'll say 0-second attack. So these attacks could be identified by AI and ML algorithms, and then you can stop those things. So AI could be used here also. And I'm not going to the nitty-gritty of these things, but just to say that AI impact is there. And blockchain is very, very important because for the privacy and security of IoT devices. In fact, they say that blockchain and IoT has to get married more closely than even AI in providing the security part. And Rashmi Madam will tell more about blockchain here. So a lot of standards have come, IoT security standards. IoT security foundation is there for its RSS standards. There are a lot of other consortia. Some industries come together and focus on certain things. Like I already told you, SAE 21434 for the automotive sector. So like that we have for different things. Third generation partnership project is the 3GPP is very popular in the cellular systems and all that. 5G, the extended version of this 5G. So analysis also has become an important thing, which is for the smart objects, Internet protocol for smart objects. So the best practices, of course, we have secure devices, secure networks, and secure overall IoT system. These are made points which we have discussed. I don't want to get into this, but just want to say that the important technology to secure IoT devices that is coming up is the physically unclonable function. Because devices are many, to secure it, each device, if you are able to identify each device with its own signature, then cloning will not be possible. So for that physically unclonable function, based on the characteristics of the processor, manufacturing process, oxide thickness, and gate width, those things will have minor variation for every device, even coming to the same patch. So the physically unclonable function, what it does is it will try to create a signature based on those variations, and each device uniquely identified with that, so that you can't clone them. So that technology is very widely thought of using for the IoT. There's a lot of work happening here, challenge response things that talk about it here. So every chip has, when you challenge, it will give you a response, and it will see whether the response is matching or not. This is an important technology which should be useful for the IoT security. Zero trust is an important thing here. Don't trust anybody. So there is a principle, right? Everyone, including insider, you should not trust. The same thing with the IoT also. In IoT environments, zero trust becomes an important aspect. And everything is moving to the edge because the computing, as the sensors and the actuators, they are all becoming large in number. The computing at the edge devices, going at the cloud becomes enormous, and time, latency, and all going to be time consuming. And all we are talking about IoT in real time environments. So we need to do the local processing. Local processing can be done by the edge computing. So that edge computing will be taking care of that and provide you high performance systems. So that's an idea, and that's so you can move the security also to the edge. That's another here in the context of security. And digital twins is another technology. Once again, I will not go into that, but digital twin is you prepare a virtual one which is similar to the physical one, and with two angles. If you any cyber attack you felt happened, you try to simulate that in the virtual thing and see what changes, and try to compare and try to take the necessary actions. Security simulation you can do, behavioral analysis you can do, instant response you can do, plan for it, predictive analytics you can do, what all you do normally with digital twins. And it's more appropriate for IoT environments to look at very large systems. It is difficult for us to analyze routinely. So use digital twins as a focus. Okay, with this I just conclude. I know that I have rushed up with just so many slides. And, I just wanted to end with the quote of Kevin Austin. The Internet of Things has the potential to change the world, just as the Internet did, maybe even more so. Right? I just wanted to show one photo here background. I think some people may be knowing. SecureNet 98. This was conducted by Indian Telephone Industries Limited, Bangalore, IEEE chapter of Bangalore. together with the help of Department of Electronics Government. I was at Department of Electronics at that time. So to the security and encryption aspects on internet with application for industries. So security was thought of for no long time. In fact, this lab itself was set up by the dream of Dr. Kalam in 2001. He thought that there should be a full-fledged cybersecurity lab doing research to develop indigenous solutions. So he thought of, and his dream was actually, he has created a committee which recommended a lab in Chennai. And at that point of time, he has become a president of India. That's a great honor for us. And then Dr. Chidambaram sir, his predecessor from the Department of Atomic Energy, completed this, who has become PSC after him, has completed this dream into the, I think that is about sex. So, thank you. Thank you one lot for any questions?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your valuable in-depth talk on securing connecting world of IoT and IoE. Before we move on to the vote of thanks by Dr. Reshmi, I Dr. H.R. Mohan sir to honor our distinguished speaker, Dr. Sharad, who is physically present here. I request sir to please hand over the memento to Dr. Sharad Chandrababu. As we are moving towards the end of this event, I would like to invite Dr. Reshmi to deliver vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Dear esteemed guests, speakers, organizers, and participants. So, on behalf of SETS, IEEE Life Member Affinity Group Madras Section, IEEE Computer Society Madras, Computer Society of India Chennai, Data Security Council of India, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each one of you for making this event resounding success. Our heartfelt thanks to today's speakers, Professor D. Janakiraman, Director of IDRBT Hyderabad, for his thought-provoking talk on rethinking cybersecurity, evolving vectors. The session was truly enlightening and added immense value to our understanding and contemporary cybersecurity challenges. We are very grateful to Professor Sam Murukeshan sir, Director of Bright Professional Services, Sydney, Australia, for his illuminating disclosure on how AI is reshaping the cybersecurity landscape. Dr. Sharad Chandrababu, Advisor DSCI, deserves our sincere thanks for shedding lights on the crucial topic of securing the connected world of IoT and IoE, awareness for the citizens. I would like to appreciate Dr. Nageshwar Rao, Admin Officer SETS, our Chief Accounts and Administrative Officer CMA B. Palni, and support team for all their continuous planning and efforts for making this event happen. Last but not least, sincere thanks to all our esteemed participants for their active engagement and enthusiasm. Once again, I thank everyone for their contributed success for this talk. We look forward for your future collaborations too. Once again, thank you. Over to Shirley.
I would like to thank everyone. Hope to meet you in our future events too. As we are coming towards the end of this event, I request everyone to join us for high tea.
Group photo here. Please join. Then second stand on the